very best friend, she and raised her daughter from like birth practically alone because she came out right after. Same story. And, I'd always talk about that. Like, that's their normal. This is our normal. That's so-and-so's, who's got only a dad or what have you. That's their normal.
Yeah.
So just trying to relate to a younger kid, like, that there is no normal anymore.
Right, yeah.
There isn't. Unfortunately, our culture still likes to paint a normal.
Yeah.
And we all want to still strive to fit in that box we call normal. But it doesn't matter anymore. Literally, we have to create our own normal.
Right.
And if you live with grandma, then that's your normal. If you live with two moms, that's your normal.
Yeah, and there was a book that I used to read to my kids that was about that.
Oh, okay.
It was about different types of families. So they could see there's different types. There's all kinds of different families, like you said.
Yeah.
So,
and it's so funny because after I told her that and to comfort her, and I do feel like that helped, like, it helped me too. Like my own advice, my own like comfort for her. Like I always kept thinking that every time I would slip into my mental, self, whatever, beating myself up, whatever.
Right.
I would tell myself the same thing. Like,
no,
Jeanette, this
totally.
is your normal, and that's okay.
Yeah, and I did the same.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Especially because, I chose.
Yeah.
This life. So
right.
many, many times, and even when I had that conversation with my son, I remember thinking, like, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I was normal. And then, and then after thinking about it, it's like, no, this is our normal. This is my normal. This is fine. I am normal. Like, it's okay. Look at the light, and just took it back to everything that I had experienced and created and really, get out of that whole guilt.
Yeah.
And say, look what you created for this little family. I had already purchased a home, and they had their bedrooms, and they had their swimming pool they wanted, and so I was like, look, you've created this. You're good.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal. I mean, that's something we both do connect on. That we both were able to, after marriage, buy our own home, provide that home for the kids. I don't have a pool, so I'm a little bit jealous that you.
Oh, don't be jealous, girl.
But we use your pool, so we're good.
Yeah.
But it's
I share.
I know. It's so funny though. It's so true. Like that's a big accomplishment. And I think like when we stand back and look back and reflect, not to compare exes by any means, but I know I've done a lot of hard work after the fact to provide them a good normal. And so have you. And that's something that's not always easy. And I think
we don't celebrate it enough, I
know. And I think what we have in common, too, is that what we did was embrace our own normal and not rush to go try and find a replacement to make that new
family
normal
unit.
That's supposed to be the cultural normal. Like, I see so many people go quickly into another relationship. And doesn't matter what sex, man or woman, but mostly it's like women leave their husband and a year later they're with another dude and they've moved in together and they're blending families and because that's what's normal.
Right. Because now, they don't want, they want that family unit thing and not knocking that, but sometimes it's done out of fear.
Yeah.
And for me, I did have plenty of fear, but it was never, let me find a replacement.
Right.
It was like, let me find, let me make this work. I'm creating my normal. I'm not going to depend on anybody to create my normal. Yeah, I was dating somebody, but it was my household. I was going to, support my kids. I was going to, then it was always because I needed to take care of me too at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's been a gift we've given them because there's somebody very close to me that I know. His ex-wife, they broke up. She basically left him for another dude. However, like she was married with this person I'm talking about for 10 years. Their marriage failed. It crumbled. She took the two kids, their age like 4 and 6, or 3 and 5, whatever it was, moved out, left him, and moved right in with this dude. And I'm sorry, I'm sounding very judgmental right now, but in her mind, that's what she thought was what was going to be good for her and what she wanted, and that's fine. But it's like those kids, like I've just seen the wreckage it caused. She didn't think it would be because in her mind, to upgrade would have been what's best for the kids. Upgrade to this man who has more money and is whatever. In her mind, it was an upgrade to a bigger house so they could be happier. Has caused some very unhappy children. just by replacing her dude with an upgraded dude. And I don't know. I'm not a believer in that method, honestly.
Right.
Kids,
For me, it was, again, it was, I needed to come back.
yeah.
The Nancy who was, hidden under all that darkness needed to come back. And yes, I was dating somebody, but it was like a separate thing.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't introduced into my kid's life right away, because I needed to create this new normal for my family, and understand what I had just chosen, and at the same time create routines for my children. And it was just a lot going on for me. So I like that was never my my thought process. Like, I have to replace this person that just left our family unit with someone to fill that void. Like, it was just more, no, I have to, my commitment is to these children, and has always been to these children. So let's up level their life real quick.
Yeah. You had an early love interest, yes, but it's very different to
those are the pros of being a lesbian.
Those are the pros,
because they don't they that's my best friend now that's coming over, and so, and that's something I think that me and you are both dealing with, because we decided to choose the family unit and to be present and to make this work for them, that we put our love life on the back burner, and now we're hitting the stage together too, right?
Yeah. It's true.
Where they all they've known is a single mom.
Yeah. And that's hard
now,
for them to shake that safety net.
Right.
They don't want to break that.
So that's something that we can definitely relate to, that we're going through right now. That because we chose to just commit to this family unit,
single mom life,
the single mom life,
they want it to stay that way.
They want it to stay that way now.
Yeah.
They don't want a family unit or something.
Like, mom dating? Don't think so.
Right. Yeah, I saw this quote that I have here that said, "Children didn't ask to be here. That is why you change and rearrange your life for them." And I was like, that 100% describes what my commitment to them. Yeah,
that's true. And some days are not joyful, and some days are lazy, and some days are stupid.
And that's why it's great to, because there's, I tell myself all the time, and I think we've had the conversation, and I have other mom friends that I can go to when a mom day's a shit day. Like I didn't know it was going to be so difficult to have children. Like, we're just enamored by the whole baby stage,
how they smell so good,
and
smile at you all the time,
and
but when they're teenagers, and they're crying because the latest stage in child's life, you can't be prepared for that.
Yeah. And that's why having your tribe, having women, and if you have men out there that are single dads, because I've met some, but having your tribe that you can cry to, that you can vacation with, that you can get support from, like especially now with the virtual learning and just everything that we're going through right now. It's just very important to have your tribe, to have your community of parents, moms out there to help you to support you.
That's what this has led me here, obviously, is just having connected with so many friends over the years, single parents, mostly single moms, of course, but a couple of single dads too. It's just such a unique connection that you have with those people. Single parents, single moms, we need to come together.
For sure.
We need to unite and be friends and work together and help each other out. And that's how,
uplift each other, because definitely, we can't do this alone.
Nope.
I couldn't do this without my tribe. Like,
no,
I really couldn't.
Same.
Yeah. If I didn't have a mom to call, if I couldn't call you when I'm having a bad day, or vacation the way I do, because I vacation with friends, because people will say, like, you must be balling out of control. And no, I just vacation with other moms, and
make it work.
Make it work. So, we should be uplifting each other. We're women, we're not girls.
Yeah.
So.
And I love it. And it's so funny because the more people I tell about this podcast too, and the way that I've been connecting with so many single moms and stuff, I definitely inspire or encourage anybody out there that's listening to this, that if you don't have single mom friends, even if you're not single, you should go find some.
Yeah,
but
connect Facebook.
I was just going to say, connect on Facebook groups or Instagram groups, or like just sending me a message through this podcast. You can always send it to my page, which is at Single Moms Survive and Thrive on Facebook. And I would love to connect with more people always, but hopefully this episode spoke to you about the importance of embracing your life, your normal, and like working into that, because it's your normal now. You're a single parent, and you might not be single forever, and you might remarry, but there's still going to be a part of you that's always that single mom at heart, like
Right.
doing it alone, two parents in one.
Yes.
Don't you think? Like,
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I've been saying to people recently is like, you don't understand. You have to shape into two parents when you're a single parent.
Yeah.
You have to become mom, sweet, loving, protective, nurturing, funny, always mom, mother, whatever. And then you have to be strict, stern, rule enforcing dad, you know, whatever.
Bringing home the bacon.
Bring home. You know, and it's like, you know, so sometimes you have to flip to being like the scary one, like where they have to have a healthy fear of you a little bit, because you can't let these kids run you over. You have to become two parents.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Isn't that a trip?
Totally, yeah. No, totally.
That develops over time, though. That's not an overnight.
Right, it's not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because you're sort of like, oh, wait a minute. There's, you know, even though dad was present, but this is still my household.
Yeah.
I had to, you know, be that, you know, disciplinary and
Yeah.
So loving at the same time.
Yeah. It's constant.
So, yeah.
You know, it's not easy.
Yeah. And if there's any, you know, women out there or men are going through the same thing, the journey that I had, where, you know, you're married to somebody that, you know, is not who you are meant to be. You know, just know that guilt of choosing yourself will definitely get better, because you are now going to become your true authentic self. And there's nothing better in this world than feeling authentic to yourself. And again, you become this light again. So,
and I wanted to ask you about that a little bit more before we probably end this podcast episode is, and it's so true and it's so inspirational, because my heart's always gone out to anybody. I've always had a lot of gay friends that has had to not be true to themselves from a young age. Like, but going back to that, like I've had so many friends also that specifically have become more lesbians later in life, that maybe there was something earlier in life, I don't know, but it seems to have been more of a transition later in life. Speaking of that topic, have you become friends with parents or single moms that have like transitioned a lot from, like, you were always a lesbian from the early age, and you knew that. You just tried.
I threw myself back in the closet.
Yeah, you try to go in the closet. You try to make the normal. But there's a lot of women who I've known that are like, I've been straight all my life. I've been married to men. Like, and then later on after a divorce, either they're curious or they just tend to start, like, I've just got a lot of friends that have become lesbians later. I don't know. Like, what has your experience been with that, and like meeting different, and what would you say to those ladies? Or I don't know.
I mean, for me, that everybody, like when people get to know my story or they meet me, they're like, oh, how did that work? Did you come out? And when I tell them my story, they assume it's me, right?
Yeah.
That the later in life lesbian. And when they hear my story, like, oh, wait, you came out at a very young age. And I just wanted to have that normal. But I guess I haven't connected with many. For me, it's always been, I had a group online years ago that I'm friends with her on Facebook. So it was a Yahoo group before we had like
Facebook, right?
MySpace and all that. Right. When I was doing my search, when I was like trying to discover if I was gay, you know, because I really, really threw myself in the closet. Like I dug her deep, and even though I had the feelings and you know the emotions, I was just like, no. I found this lesbian group, and I would chit chat with women that they were, all of them were in their 50s, and I was like the young one in the group, and we were all still with our husbands. So it was great to have that support of women that we knew something was different, and the transition of when are you going to come out to him and how are you going to do it, and just to have that support was awesome for me. Fast forward years later, you know, she found me on Facebook. And you know, I don't know if she found me because of my email. I believe it was because of email. And now we like each other's pictures, and, you know, we chit chat, we comment. Yeah. And she finally came out, and I see her dating women, and her kids are grown now. They're out of college, and she just became a grandma. And it's like, we get to see our lives after so many years, after meeting on a Yahoo chat group. Oh, funny. Yeah. That's so, cool. But she's probably the only one that I can say that I've met. But for the most part, most of my friends are straight, so I'm the oddball that you know. But yeah, that's
so funny because it's the opposite. I'm straight, but like I have my friends are a lot of them are gay.